Hello everyone and welcome to the ScratchRunning Podcast, the official podcast of competitive browser gaming, where our motto is creativity, quality, originality. As always, I'm your host Keiron, and with me on the mic are Shalebridge, Apfellord, and HmYesQuite, here for a special Q&A only episode of the only podcast on Scratch.
Hello.
Unless we can think of something along the way.
Yes, hello.
We have a bunch of questions from my thing on my profile.
From this thing we do.
Yeah,
actually,
ScratchRunning.
I want to do a thing here before we actually start with this stuff, because people have been asking who's who, and I can kind of understand if this is the first episode you're watching. Okay, you know who Keiron is now.
I'm Keiron.
But who's the rest? So
Who's that one?
The guy who just said
hello,
things.
my name is Toaster. That's my Scratch account. You can follow me. I don't post anything.
Okay.
That's such an interesting accent you have, Shale. I mean, normally when I say Shale, it just says Shale, but somehow your accent turns into Toaster. That's fascinating.
You know, Shale actually rhymes with
I have
Toaster.
the account Toaster. I don't know what you're talking about. That's me.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, and I don't know where the Shalebridge thing came from.
Who's
Shalebridge?
What are you talking about?
Who's this? I
So,
only know
so when
Toaster.
we put your username in the description, it's going to be Toaster.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Up there.
No one really
if we're
knows
going
who
in
you are.
reverse order, then I guess I'll go next.
Sure.
My name is HmYesQuite, or just Quite. I don't really know how to tell you to look out for my voice, except that it sounds like this and not like the other ones. Yeah.
It sounds like Kermit the Frog.
Yeah,
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
No, it doesn't.
I love that.
When I think of a Kermit the Frog impression, I think of Jack's films.
So when you hear
It's
"Hey-ho,
a good-
Edward Beebe," I shouldn't do this.
And
This
I'm
is just like
Apfellord.
impacting the resemblance for people.
You're just increasing the amount of people saying you sound like Kermit the Frog by at least 300%.
Yeah, now you got 3 people instead of 1.
It's I'm App. I don't know if people heard that earlier.
You've made a
if
video
I'm,
game.
Or to cut it out. I'm Apfellord. Hello, this is my voice. Let's go.
Let's go.
Super Q&A episode. All this clapping will make editing really hard.
Yeah, get
I
some
don't
more,
care,
get some more
though.
clap syncs in there.
Yeah.
No, we are. Again, the claps. We have a lot of.
Claps in there.
Gotta get these claps in here.
Q&A.
We have a lot of questions we want to answer, or it's less the fact that we have a lot of questions, more the fact that the questions we got are actually,
They could actually
this time.
make an episode out of them.
An especially
yeah,
large number and especially high quality of questions. So thank you.
Exactly.
Thank you all.
Yes, thank you to the people out there. If you wanna, I guess before we go, if you wanna ask your own questions and, find out what our favorite kind of pasta is, please ask us these things in the Q&A project, which is
It's a project
hosted
by
on
me, and
Keiron's.
it's just a comment section as questions to the SRCast.
I mean, just so you know, Rotini is the perfect pasta shape.
Well, look,
Okay.
Listen, there are things you can say about other pasta shapes, but Rotini is perfect. Like, there's nothing bad about it. You can say that
I'm
you
not
like
very
one
pasta
better.
cultured. Educate me.
You can say you like other pasta shapes better, but Rotini, there's nothing bad about it. It's as good as it gets.
Please explain to me how Rotini looks, because I
It's
currently
the
I'm
spirally
also
one.
Oh,
I have
it's not long.
I
it's
suppose there
not.
are a lot of spirally ones.
No, but
It's like the
typical
flat and
spirally.
spirally one.
Fusilli,
Yeah.
commonly known as rotini in the United States of America, are a variety of pasta that are formed into corkscrew or helical shapes.
Ah, yes. Okay, that
It's
explains it a
fusilli.
lot. Yes.
So I have conflicting opinions, but those are barred off until you ask about this in the Scratch Q&A.
No. Here, this is like I
Leave
have
that
already,
in.
No,
Leave
I'm
that
the
in.
person asking this in our Q&A.
Oh, is this a freebie?
This is the Q&A super.
Right.
Yes, I want to know the perfect pasta shape. And yes, Shalebridge, that's a very, Toaster, it's a very good point.
The cover's blown.
Oh no, I've been found out.
Happens to the best of us.
Do you guys know tortellini? Does that?
Yeah.
Yeah, tortellini.
Yeah, but that's like,
That's
it's like
a real
not only
word.
pasta, right?
It's
So
like
it's not.
almost ravioli level.
Oh,
Like they've got
that's-
tortellini has stuff
yeah.
in it.
It's halfway to ravioli and half
Yes.
as good.
Got him.
Don't trash talk tortellini. Come on.
We talking trash on
Tortellini's
tortellini?
Tortellinis are bliss.
But what is it filled with? Raviolis, you get so many excellent fillings. When you get tortellini, it doesn't matter what they say it's filled with. It always tastes exactly the same.
You might have a point.
It's because when you sort of bend it around, it makes way less space for any actual filling. So, it's just sort of a hint.
So you're spending all that time, all that effort, only to reduce the quality of a perfectly good ravioli.
I'm going to go ahead and say reducing like the amount of stuffing does not reduce the quality of it, makes it like that much more you have a good balance of pasta and filling, I feel.
Yeah, you gotta have the ratio of pasta to sauce.
Well, that's where Rotini comes in, because it's got a good amount of like surface area and like places for the sauce to get stuck in.
Oh man,
you can just
fill. I would offer a counterpoint in terms of like handling with the fork and knife is surprisingly difficult with Rotini as opposed to a lot of other kinds.
Just put your fork in it. What are you talking about?
What
are you doing with your fork that you can't eat Rotini?
I agree with Shalebridge on this one.
I'm just using it normally. If you pick up spaghetti, you can easily twirl up a large amount of spaghetti and it takes all the sauce with it.
Don't trash talk Rotini
it is fine
about
to
being
eat
able to pick it up and then bring up
Rotini
spaghetti
at a time.
like that's somehow better. Unbelievable.
You can eat like 1 to 3 Rotini at a time. That's fine.
You just have insubstantial fork and knife form and technique.
Listen, I can eat spaghetti fine, but the design as it is harder to like. It's not intuitive. You have to learn how to do it. Once you know how to do it, you can eat spaghetti totally easy. But you have to like actually figure that out. With Rotini, it's just a thing. It's a pasta shape. You put your fork in it, and then you put your fork in your mouth, and you eat the pasta.
Eating Rotini is easy.
Fair enough.
Eat the fork.
I agree with you. However, I would raise you penne, which is exactly the same.
Penne pasta is fire. You can put the sauce in the middle, and you can also stab it. It's the perfect balance. I love penne pasta.
I'm trying to remember.
Yes.
Shout out penne pasta. Macaroni's just penne but worse.
What pasta shape it was in like Italian grocery stores when the pandemic broke out. People were not buying it because they just hate it. I think it was a type of penne, but I don't remember what kind.
Is that
penne lisque? Wow. It's smooth penne.
Yeah.
I think that is the definitive answer to this. Which pasta was bought out first?
Who knows?
Like you have.
Was it Rotini?
I don't know.
Like you have smooth penne, and that's bad.
Yeah.
But if you have like
I can see that.
Whatever those pasta types are that are shaped like little wagon wheels.
Ooh,
yo,
what? Those are excellent.
What are you talking about?
Those are so good.
They're very hard to handle.
Are we gonna answer any like actual questions here, or
no,
are we just
gonna
talk about pasta for an hour?
Talking about how penne rigate is better than penne lisque.
If we talk about pasta for an hour, I'm just wondering.
All I'm gonna say is I love that the first time we actually got a heated argument on here.
It's about
is
pasta.
When we talked about pasta, and the other thing is, do you say pasta or pasta?
Oh, mate, we're gonna have some pasta for tea.
Already.
We're gonna have some pasta for tea in it. No, it's pasta.
Because that's another heated argument people get into that I don't understand why. Because it's obviously pasta.
It's pasta.
It's a like accent thing. I can't get angry about that.
I mean, you can.
Right, okay, it's actually toaster. I'm sorry.
As opposed to spaghetti, which we could very easily get angry over.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Spaghetti. Yes. That's just
Spaghetti?
Italian noodles. Let's be real.
It's pasta. They are all noodles.
Because if you talk about noodles, now you're bringing in soba, you're bringing in like...
Huh?
Unbelievable.
Lasagna's a blanket.
Lasagna is such
weird.
a hassle to deal with. Have you ever made lasagna?
Honestly, lasagna kind of sucks.
Toaster shell, I 100% agree with you.
Do we agree? Do we all agree that lasagna bad?
Lasagna kind of bad.
I'm gonna go with lasagna
Sometimes.
is lawful evil. Alignment chart of pastas.
Are we gonna fill up this entire alignment chart now?
Yes. Well, not now, but I
later.
Somebody will.
Yeah.
That's a later thing to do.
I don't know. I feel like lasagna, the results are so nice, but you're right.
Yeah,
it takes a disproportionate amount of effort to set up.
Yes.
Lasagna, you gotta stack everything, and then it's not even worth it at the end.
Okay, I want to ask you guys something, and after that we can maybe move on finally to actual like Scratch questions. Right. Imagine that.
Scratch on the ScratchRunning Podcast.
There is this thing, and I'm gonna Google it right now. What the name is? It's called Spätzle in German, and yes, that is a German name for things. But wait.
Please type that in the chat.
English. It's like it's such a nice. That does not help me at all. It took the umlaut and turned it into
just a regular,
not umlaut.
Just a regular. That sucks. That completely changes the spelling.
I cannot explain this. It's like almost spaghetti, but it's thicker.
So like tagliatelle.
What?
Talking about
tagliatelle.
Isn't it sort of like looser than noodles? It's more sort of doughy.
Yes.
I think I've had this before. And
that is like one of my top 3 at least.
And I hate to break it to you that I really wasn't wowed by it when I had it.
Were you arguing about pasta again?
Alright, so that's all I wanted to say. Please, everybody, if you see Spätzle sometime,
give it a try. Just know that it's it's like a starch portion of a meal. It doesn't have a ton of flavor on its own, and you need to be ready for that.
Check out worm pasta.
Spätzle.
Come to Germany, we have worm pasta.
Spätzle
it tastes better than it looks, but not by much.
I mean, that's the thing with pasta in general, except for tortellini. Just saying that it doesn't taste like a lot. It just kind of does its thing, you know.
If we're continuing to populate the alignment chart, I would probably put orzo in the chaotic evil. Because it's just a tiny little, it's almost like rice shaped, but it's pasta, and so it's just very hard to handle and doesn't really work in typical pasta settings at all.
That's the kind of pasta you actually eat with a spoon.
Does the pilaf and rice pilaf count?
What is that?
It's like these weird round capsules of pasta that's just in rice.
I'll raise y'all one.
I mean,
I'll raise y'all one. Just bake the pasta dough and eat that. No shapes.
I think that's just
you're getting close to shortbread at that point.
Oh, yes. Oh, is that cheating?
What's the sailor cracker? I can't remember. The one that's just flour and water.
Yeah, yes. Water crackers. Or sorry, oyster crackers.
Nick, should we let Pybro on?
Wait, what?
Pybro just asked what's going on.
He's confused why we're talking about pasta.
We are baffling our community server.
Do I ask him? Want to join?
Is he gonna get in here and talk about pasta?
We're arguing about pasta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, if the thumbnail for this is not pasta, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yeah. I like the thought of we opened this with the concept of hey, we're finally gonna open up to just a big community-based Q&A episode, and then we spend the rest of the episode quite literally lost in the sauce.
Oh! If a man has no sauce, then he is lost. But the same man can be lost in the sauce.
This is so good. We are posting in the community program of choice just random pictures of pasta, and Pybro goes in here and what's going on? What in tarnation?
I pronounced the A in Spätzle.
Hello everybody, I am Pybro 101.
You use Scratch.
So we obviously know what your favorite pie is from an older episode.
I believe I said pecan or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But what is your favorite type of pasta? If you had to.
Well, I mean,
some people don't have.
Here's the thing about pasta, right?
No pressure.
It's such an inferior food choice compared to something I don't know.
I'm gonna get real angry. Keep talking.
Let him talk.
If y'all keep talking trash on pie or pasta.
Please go on. This can only increase our views.
I mean, pasta. It's all right. I mean, I don't have a favorite per se, but if it's pasta.
If you had to pick one kind of pasta, why would it be penne?
And why is it?
I just probably bake a pasta pie. I don't know.
Sure,
yeah, that makes sense.
So a typical bottom and top crust pie, but you slice it and then it's just nothing.
Just
bundled up pasta.
That is beyond disgusting. And
I'm a strange
want to
man,
go on,
but I have to accept it and move on.
Wait, Toaster Shell, can we expect a video like that from your YouTube soon?
Of a pasta pie? I would say probably not.
I am going to be...
No!
I was the 40th person to ever watch you eat an orange, so...
Hey, good job on that.
Shale would be the only... Toaster Shale would be the only... Toaster Shale is your
you
name
can You can just call me Shale. I don't need to
Last
keep up
name Shale.
being Toaster.
First name Toaster.
But you did, and now here I am continuing the
all right, well,
the legacy of Toaster.
Pick one of the names. It's too many syllables.
Okay, Bridge.
That works.
Mr. Bridge, last name Bridge, first name Shale. Our podcast is never gonna fail.
Yo, I thought you were gonna go with stale or something.
Nah.
Yeah, that's fair. I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, right. Out of all of us, you'd probably be the one to try the weird pasta pie, but it's fair. I'll accept that answer as and try again maybe next episode. All right.
Okay. Time for some submissions from my Scratch project, the ScratchRunning Podcast Q&A box.
Yes.
Our first question is from Hannah N Games, who says,
You want to try that again?
No. In your opinion, is it bad when Scratchers use Scratch for things other than coding?
You mean like a podcast?
You mean like a podcast?
I suppose it depends on what they mean by this. If they mean games / like coding heavy projects versus coding light projects that are mostly focusing on art or audio or something like that, or if they mean projects versus non-project things.
Well, okay, so let's set the boundaries and then discuss. So let's discuss what even means a project that does not use coding. Shale.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi. Here you were, posting.
What do you mean? He still exists.
Well,
he hasn't winked out of existence.
Well, on Scratch he has.
He's gone.
Unfortunately, but I think for his account it's the best.
Yeah.
You were out there posting basically images, or just uploading images in Scratch project form.
Yeah.
Which does take away a lot of the quality, maybe, but it does give the people something to look at every day, which was nice.
Every day. That's impressive.
What? And there's a lot of other people that do the same thing. Like I know, sure, there's also some that mix the two and make cool, artworks that are almost interactive.
Yeah.
That move. But it's basically extremely light coding and just art.
The focus is not the coding.
And that's fun.
Yes.
That's fine.
And then we have things that kind of are in between with our podcast, because it is a podcast at its core. It's an
podcast, audio format, but we had to program it to work in Scratch.
Exactly.
And shout out to Apfellord for doing that. Apfellord on Scratch. Hi, Nick.
It me. So actually and I still expand upon on the idea and on the features of it every time. So it is kind of, for me, it's another way of coding, right?
Yeah.
Or
Absolutely.
scripting the whole thing. So that's is that a thing that it's more art and not coding? What would you guys say?
I'd say if you put any amount of coding or effort into it, I think that counts. I mean, back when
I remember back when I was seeing put effort in.
Posters advertising Scratch in the hallways of my school, one of the things that they said that you could do with it was interactive art. I remember that really specifically because I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
But it's just sort of you make things move around and you click on them and then they move around.
Thanks, Scratch.
It's good enough.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's accurate.
What,
aren't most things interactive art nowadays? Video games, those are art, technically.
Video games are kind of literally interactive art. The most interactive they could get, probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess in there you also have different ways of going about it, with visual novels where the whole thing is slightly less
I feel
interactive.
If your game doesn't have a skip cutscene button, get out.
Why not?
Sure.
Let them do the thing. Actually, you should go with the a Half-Life approach of have things playing out, but just let the player walk around and look at things that aren't important.
Yeah. That's
While
good.
this dude is giving you the speech of his life, and you're just
he's
walking
telling you
around.
stuff, and you're jumping on the countertops and getting on his head.
Yeah,
let people do that.
Balancing traffic cones on the man's head. I feel as though, the official podcast for Scratch browser gaming is slightly biased when it comes to what's
Scratch.
the most Scratch sort of projects.
Yeah. I think to get back to the question, now that we've established the
you can basically do whatever you want on
what
Scratch.
Counts as a coding project and whatnot. At which point, or is it all cool, or at which point does it become something that's where another platform would be more I guess beneficial for you and other people? And I know while I'm saying this, I know I'm poking fun at Shale here, but he did the thing where he not only posted it on Scratch. So
so we got Shale has his own website. I have ScratchRunning.
Apparently, Scratch had this whole thing in mind already when they were created, right? So or when they made the whole thing. Because if you say they had the posters with interactive art, then that meant that they had this in mind when making Scratch. That people could post anything, from lots of coding goes into games to just post a cool picture you made, make it move around with the mouse, something like that. So that's maybe Scratch's approach.
So the motto of
I
Scratch,
still feel
the tagline of Scratch is Imagine, Program, Share. And I feel like Imagine is more important than Program. It's you can post art on Scratch. As long as you're putting effort in, that's good content.
I'd agree.
Yes. And there is still, Scratch is such a diverse community, and not just from the people that use it, but to the also the ways that people use Scratch. And so I feel like any new way of posting art on Scratch, I'm gonna go ahead and say us putting this much coding into a podcast, is kind of a new thing for Scratch, and I think that's always a good thing when people experiment with art and how to make it more interactive.
When was the last time someone innovated with Scratch? For real?
Well,
you do end up running into the problem of Scratch's target audience, which is children.
Yes.
And there is the feature, I guess, that because of that, there are so many projects that is just some kid found something and thought cool and put it in a Scratch project and uploaded it.
Yeah.
In a similar time frame to seeing the posters with interactive art on them. There was a friend of mine who I remember this really distinctly for some reason. He made a project and it was just he had Google image searched Celtic warriors or something, found an image that he thought was cool, put it in Scratch, and then in blue pen wrote Celts Rock on it.
Celts Rock.
No coding, no blocks, no anything.
Put that in the mentioned project,
on Scratch,
by the way.
And it was just that has happened so many times. If you are thinking about, is this, okay to put on Scratch, you have done more thought than so many other people. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything that you've put on Scratch. I mean, I guess there's an inappropriate thing, but oh man, you can just put whatever on there.
The question is, and this is where we can maybe influence a bunch of people and say, hey, maybe
you should
think more about this. Are you trying to say that it bloats the website if there is something that is just an image that has no effort, the slightest bit of effort put into it and uploaded to Scratch? Is that a thing? Is it directly bad for the website because people don't find what they want to find because it's that?
I wouldn't say it's bad because I think the website's built for it.
It's sort of indifferent.
That's how Scratch works.
Doesn't worsen anything.
Yeah,
I guess so.
I don't
right?
think many people are going to be remixing that project, and so you're not going to find it on the front page anyway. You'd have to actively search for stock image I found on the internet
to put the nail in the coffin, Shale, how many people actually viewed that project?
I
gotta pull it up again. Hold on.
Oh, you have? Oh my!
I know where it is.
This is gonna end up in the mentioned project.
No, I'm not gonna expose my dear friend from 13 years ago. Oh man, he's also got a project where it's just an image of Sasuke.
Sasuke Uchiha does not say swears.
This project has 2 loves, 6 favorites, and 29 views.
29.
Scratch.
Got a bunch of comments though.
Please, let us know. What
the Scratch comments.
One is yours that just says stop.
There's one from me from 13 years ago in which I say this isn't just some place to post images, and then in parentheses I say I know where you live because I knew him.
So I see your opinion has mellowed over time.
And great. Like the rest of it is just people arguing about Celts and where they're from.
It was maybe beneficial, maybe bad for the website.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just a bunch of kids doing whatever.
Yeah, people can get into arguments on the internet on any website, really.
About Celts.
Are Celts from Ireland or are they from Scotland? Well, you see, they're actually from both.
Well,
on and on.
I don't know enough about this to go on, but I think I think this is the perfect example for this, is where people just post something random without coding and it somehow still ends up.
Like, honestly, I could post an image of a Swiss roll onto my Scratch account and still get a like.
Please do. This is now.
Are we doing it? We're doing it.
Sure.
Okay.
Look,
later.
It's
Scratch.
I think two things are true. First of all, for Scratch specifically, posting things is not inherently good or bad based on how much effort you put into them. It's just for your own sake, pushing yourself to create things that either you really like and like working on, or that you think other people would specifically enjoy.
Yeah, I feel like it's too easy. I feel like it's too easy to share Scratch projects because the share button just immediately shares the project. It makes it public.
Well,
I feel like we should have a text box that says, "Are you sure you want to share this project with the wider Scratch community?"
Take a quick look at what you put together and decide if this is.
Are you sure about that?
I actually,
I'm okay with that.
This is a bit of a jump in topic, but yes, you're completely right. I had to make a user script for my browser that says yeet the Scratch
yeet the share button. It's too easy.
I don't accidentally share Monster World 2.0. There I said it.
Yeah.
So more of a control to prevent stuff from getting preemptively shared.
Yes, and it happens too often. And it's that happened with the preview at least 3 times, I think.
And then I think the other thing that I would just like to mention is that I think Scratch, as opposed to other places, is pretty different. So, do you post it on Scratch? That's fine, but if you're hoping to get something out of posting it on Scratch, you'll probably do better getting involved on other places that are more specific towards the kind of thing you're hoping to post.
Yeah.
But then also, I think the unique and in some ways nice thing about Scratch is that there's no real sort of level for how much effort needs to go into something before you can post it. Other places, standards are higher.
Standards are high.
I mean...
Yeah, they're higher. They're not much higher necessarily, and you can still still post whatever you like, but it's gonna meet a lot more scrutiny if you post.
Oh, that's very good.
A game to itch or a video to YouTube, as opposed to if you just post it to Scratch.
You just mess around on Scratch.
And even if Scratch lets you just post a picture, on and upload that as a project, you get much more out of it if you actually use the thing it's made for, which is coding.
Yeah.
So for your own enjoyment, why not
just use Scratch more, just experiment. That's what it's for.
Just remember the third word is share in Imagine Program Share. Share the stuff. Make it.
But Imagine comes first.
Keep in mind
there's a whole bunch of words in there, and you can use whichever ones you want.
You can program. You can only program, and that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do. I never share my stuff.
Look, the Scratch is used best if you make use of all those 3 words.
I've been doing it all wrong.
Yeah. I've just been imagining and programming, but I never shared.
Dang. There's only one thing Scratch doesn't have, and it's musicians, because if you go on the music tab and explore, it's just the same thing as the other tabs. It's all just Minecraft animations.
Man. Wow.
That reminds me, in terms of...
Except Arc.
Is like... When I think about, I uploaded, 1,000 or so pictures to Scratch with, no programming, should I consider the space, storage amount that fills up. And then I remember, oh, right, there are projects where people have just remixed and like copied over like Megalovania soundboards where it's like you've got 20 different versions of the same song, and it's just like click the button to listen to this version or this version.
I think I saw that
that's
before.
taking up
that's technically a project.
One of those is taking up more space than all of my projects combined, and I just stopped caring about it.
Yeah,
It's no longer.
when you think about how many times Paper Minecraft has been stolen, you really get a sense of how much server space Scratch has.
Yeah.
Scratch
team has to keep up with a lot of it.
Scratch.
Sometimes I wonder, do people like remix things without like when people remix things without changing anything? Do they like use that as a second like favorite button? Right? As like
some
thing
people
that
do
they can always
favorite.
go to their page and have like a collective of all things they like. Because I see some
people
like,
using that
users
as a
literally
repost
only
button.
remix things and don't change them.
Yeah.
I have
and then they just star that project instead of the original, which is bad.
Yeah.
I have a theory, which is that in like computer science classes, teachers will tell children how to remix things, and like you remix the thing, and then you have your version of it, and you can change it, and kids will do that and then share it,
and then not change it.
Think any more steps beyond that because
they passed the class. You get a E for effort.
You did the thing that you were supposed to do, and now you move on.
As usual, the explanation for most weird things happening on Scratch is,
children,
kids. Kids will be
kids, and they don't care.
Quick PSA: if you are remixing projects just to have them more conveniently on your page, bookmarks
star the
do that
project
as well.
Anyway.
It's also literally the favorite button. Please just use.
Yeah, but I can click the remix button and then it's got my name next to it.
Yo,
Hey, they say these sincere flattery is imitation, so.
I don't know if that counts as imitation.
No, it doesn't, but
it's just
I can imagine someone
plagiarism is plagiarism is also a form of flattery, but it's not as sincere because it's just illegal.
Yeah, you can also just say "good project." That kind of does.
Oh yeah, leave a comment that says "cool" if you think this project is cool.
Yeah.
Please.
Shell, what have you done?
Shell will make another cool out of.
I will not.
Comments we get. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now that one was actually like it.
Yeah.
At first it was hilarious, then it got scary, then it got hilarious again. I feel like
it's like 13 minutes.
Yeah,
it goes on.
It just kept on going.
It didn't feel like 13 minutes. It felt like I don't know whether it felt more like 5 or 20 minutes of the cool project.
I'm also caught like every time I watch it, which does not happen often. I'm gonna admit that.
But that's fair. Why would you want to subject yourself to that?
You made the thing.
Yeah, I know. I know what I've done.
You had to read all those comments.
I had to collect them all and then put them in layers so that you would have all
read them.
And then read them all. It was great.
It was great.
Never doing that again.
It's the first and last time I'm dedicating that much time to that.
Scratch comments.
So
and this Q&A episode's got some legs on it, huh?
Oh,
dude,
man.
it's
Are we gonna have to split this into 2 episodes?
Question.
You put the discussion question first.
Yeah.
There's one of these questions that's just PS4 or Xbox One.
Neither of those consoles are good.
Well, let's go with that one then.
Jono 2010 asks PS4 or Xbox One. The correct answer is Bloodborne. Next question, please.
Okay, actually, next question. I'm not talking about that.
Hold on, 1 second.
I don't think I have experience with either of them. To be honest.
Scratch user Propolo
same.
asks, "Can I not join?" You're right.
No,
you cannot
you're
join.
actually required by law to join the podcast.
Shale.
Yes. As soon as you ask, I'm sorry, you're being invited as we speak. You're also on the podcast right now.
You're on the podcast right now. That's your one invitation. You're never going to get another. Goodbye.
So, those were the rapid fire questions. No,
it's not even all of them. That's
fire.
the thing. It's so many.
Yeah.
It's just one after another.
The PS4 or Xbox One was asked by Jono 2010, and the Can I Not Join was asked by Prepolo. That sounds like a pasta.
Yeah. Prepolo. Could it be Prepollo? Like the chicken.
I don't know.
Prepollo.
Leave us an answer in the comments. How to pronounce your username.
Yes. And just like type out the username again.
Scratch user Clark T. Brown asks, SRCast, do you guys have any special skills? Have you been to the hospital? Dream vacation, dream pet? And last is, if you could have any power, what would it be?
Happening.
I feel like we've already been recording for too long. You're going to have to edit out most of the pasta.
No, I'm not editing out.
The pasta stays.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
My special skill is that I eat lots of bread.
Oh, actually, I have something for this special.
I probably don't
skills.
eat as much bread as you.
I've actually
Okay, Pybro.
I've recently discovered that I'm capable of opening doors with my feet.
Like kicking them open or like pull doors?
Like I use my toes to open the doorknob. Like turn the door.
That's cool.
I have noticed if I kick a door hard enough, it will always break.
No, like
it's amazing how it happens.
I see where he's going with this. You like lift your foot up and just drag your foot down, and as it comes down, you kick the door open like that.
But Pybro, let me ask.
Yes.
How did you find out?
So actually, that's a very good question. There was this like wasp in my room, so I had to get it out. So I took like a cup and I put it like on it,
yes.
and then I like took a piece of paper and put that under the cup so it was
Classic.
trapped. But I was using both of my hands, so I couldn't open the door. And I asked my brother, I'm like, "Yo, can you open the door?" And he's like, "No." So I just went up to the door. I was like, I might as well try, and voila.
Dude.
And I guess you discovered you had prehensile toes.
Indeed.
Also,
Don't
what
we
a
all?
risk-reward situation. Or like, no.
Risk-reward.
The reward is a lack of punishment.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. That's a perfect. Yeah. That's brave. It's very brave. And
Thank you.
You found out. You have
Very dexterous feet.
Okay.
Foot hands.
Thanks, Pybro.
You have a dex skill of 20.
Indeed.
So, is 20 a lot? I don't know.
I don't know.
Depends on the system.
In
Yeah.
Skyrim, it's not. So, I really, really, really like. Does anyone else have a special skill that they wanna? Can you guys like bend your fingers all the way back to?
I mean,
to your,
you
like,
can, but it
palm
might
like
not
I can?
feel good.
Script writing.
Oh.
Like I can write scripts and do like the Keiron's Internet Funny Studio on Scratch. You know.
I really enjoy those. So
Yeah.
I'm happy that's your.
That's my special skill.
Pybro had another one.
I do actually.
You open them with your hands too.
Wait, what? Yeah, I mean it's
Different ways
crazy.
you
It's
open
crazy
doors,
how I can do
Pybro.
it with both my feet and my hands.
Dude.
No. So, I can snap right like normally, right? But then I can also do this thing where like I interlock my fingers and then I pull them down and it snaps, like all of them. And it's really weird.
What?
Like if I could like show you, it would make a lot more sense.
Can you clap with one hand?
Clap?
Sorry, that's another thing.
Like with like just my fingers, like.
To add to more claps in this podcast.
We need
Clap
some
it on
more
the podcast,
claps in
baby.
here.
Get some one-handed claps in here, please.
Yeah, I can clap with 2 fingers. It's easy. Watch.
Oh man, that was real good.
Very
Big are
good
your
at it.
fingers. Your thumbs are just like, I don't
Very
know, entire
powerful.
palms.
By the way, Clark T. Brown only gets one question. We're not doing any of the others.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you been to the hospital? I have one, but that's too disgusting.
I've never been to the hospital
here.
except to like, visit my grandparents.
All right. I really want to get back to Hana Endgame's second question because that one was actually
Okay.
like that one was the one I was.
Oh,
looking
this
forward to the
this
most.
person gets 2 questions.
That's gonna
I
be
see
a
how
Yeah.
it
whole
We
is.
had one.
other discussion. We gotta split it.
All right. Okay. You know what? I'm sorry. Hana Endgames,
You only got one.
This cool. You got 2 SR.
Your questions are extremely good, Hannah and Games, but that's
Please
exactly
stop.
why we can't answer all of them at once.
Yes.
Okay.
Keep asking
fair.
questions, please.
That would be very
Also,
appreciated.
Spare us. No. Okay. So, which one's next, Keiron? You pick.
Scratch user -Archon- asks, have you guys considered putting your podcast on other platforms, removed, etc.? I'd really love to listen to it in a more convenient location than Scratch or Removed, especially if I can download it offline. If you're going through Removed, shouldn't the content automatically be syndicated to other platforms? That's how my podcast works. Yo, weird flex, Archon.
Nice way of promoting yourself there, Archon, but no, little like.
Well, dear viewer, anchor.fm/scratchrunning. The filter's coming off.
Anchor is completely fine because you can't even comment anything.
Yeah, there's no comments.
You're good.
You can't like, comment.
Listening.
You can't like and comment, but you can subscribe by favoriting the podcast on the mobile app.
Yep.
So.
Maybe we talked about this once, but we were thinking about Spotify, but Spotify has like actual.
Spotify has
it's the professionals have standards meme.
Professionals have standards. Be polite. Be efficient. Have a plan to kill every podcast you meet.
Sure. Moving on.
There are podcasts on Spotify, but ours is not one. Sorry, Archon.
I was going to say that we're just keeping out of each other's jurisdiction like portions of the mafia or cell service companies.
Yeah.
Yes. No, we could maybe like crank the quality up to be available for like, or to be good enough for Spotify.
Podcasting's a good job, mate.
And actually make money with this, dude.
Pog.
Are you insane? What,
imagine making money from your content. Couldn't be me.
This is no.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say the link.
As long as I'm on Scratch, I'm not making any money. I go to my boss every day at work and say, while I'm on Scratch, you're not paying me a cent.
I refuse all the money.
Please give this money to the Scratch team.
Okay.
So I can finally upload more than 5 megabytes of a JSON file on my game.
Famous. Go ahead. Say it. I'm going to say the MW.
And lastly, this is the one I get to pick. Airclaws, hello.
Hi.
Hey.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know that person.
Everyone knows
Shout
that person.
Airclaws. Airclaws asks,
she's the mastermind.
Do you prefer to have lots of small ideas for projects, music, art? That's allowed on Scratch now. At a time, and then to work on those individually, or one big idea like
Removed
game
Monster World
that you
Monster World.
No, like Monster World that you exclusively work on. In your opinion, is it better to have lots of less detailed ideas, or just one that has a lot of time and effort put in? But that idea only. So this is basically the whole plot of episode 4, I believe. Yep. It's like one mountain at a time, where we ask ourselves, like, is it better to work on big project or is it better to work on baby project?
Yeah.
And the answer is, it's all up to you.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
It's your choice. Like, I do the white background concepts, so those are baby projects.
Hold on, Shale.
Hey, what's up?
I have a question. Did you, like, while making that, like, while doing a drawing every day, and wait, hold on, do you still do that?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So, do you consider that a big project, or do you consider that like lots of little projects? Because it is like a thing you kind of dedicate yourself to do that every day.
I would call most of the drawings little tiny projects, but every once in a while I start a drawing and then it takes several days to finish it.
Oh, I see.
It's interesting because when I think about that, I usually, when that happens at the end of it, I wish I had planned like any amount after making this large thing. But if I like go into something thinking, oh, I'm going to make a large thing, I'm going to plan it out, that drastically decreases the chances of it actually happening.
That is so true. I wish I couldn't agree with that more. When I made like a little poster for Monster World, and that was the first time in a long time I made like an actual like big would you call it a composed like drawing, actually, like where you don't just like put random ideas on paper?
Sure.
I mean, sure, I guess.
Yeah. It's a thing where like it takes the fun, not the fun out of it, but it makes it much easier. Let me say that. It makes it much easier to do the big thing. But it also kind of makes it feel more like work.
Right.
I don't know.
Because you can really get lost in the weeds of the detail. It depends on how much bigger you're talking. Like, in my case, as you know, in about a month when I'm gonna post my update project, you'll see more of this. But I have a lot of projects where I've planned out a lot of just qualitatively how they're gonna go, but it's probably like a 1 to 3 year effort to get the thing made. And so
yes,
the design is the most fun. The end of it, where everything's basically made and you're sort of working out the details and the fine tuning, is also fun. But you've built yourself a lot of stuff in the middle where it won't be as fun, but it's just as like, you know, you've got to move through that in order to get the thing realized.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big thing I'm noticing with Monster World right now too.
And I think that's
not just like drawing.
Yeah, I think that's much more a thing for games, whereas for a lot of art, for a lot of music, it's much more consistently rewarding. You don't have to move towards, you know, like with making games, you're like, for instance, making a jump feel right. You've got to make the whole jump before you can finally test it and be like, nice, this feels good, this works. Whereas, for instance, when you're painting, you like with each added portion, you can kind of sit back and enjoy the way it's progressing.
Yeah, if you're making a game, you either have a product or you don't.
I love how this happens so often with you, Keiron. You take a big swing, like
I just come in and say something,
and you go, or you don't. No, but I think you can definitely take away something from that, because like while you're planning, and I think this is what I wanted to say earlier, while you're planning a big thing, you already like built this mountain like up, and you see this big mountain that you're trying to climb. If you're just making little things, then you're just like skipping along, you're just doing things, and you don't like see this thing you want to work on, and that it can't
think of something and then do it.
Intimidate you there. I feel like that's the idea behind it.
I feel like whenever I try to use the Scratch blocks themselves, I just end up thinking of something, doing it, and then sharing that.
Yeah, that's literally the white background concept of yours. Like the series.
That's honestly,
I'm gonna call it a series.
That's honestly, yeah, it's a series. It's like Keiron's Internet Funnies, but like the opposite. Like there's no script to write, there's no slides to make. Like the funny part of the white background concepts is how little time I put into them. Honestly, some of these just I spend like 3 minutes on, hit share. And that's content.
Yeah,
that's
like,
showbiz, baby.
That's little baby projects, and that works too. And to get back onto the question, and you know, again, if you want to hear more about this, episode 4 is a lot of that.
Yeah.
It's entirely up to you what you feel comfortable with, and maybe one thing can help you feel comfortable with the other, or like you can slowly, you know, build yourself up with bigger projects. It's a whole thing. So,
by the way, we did a poll last episode where we asked people what we would love to do as our dream job. 45% of you said they'd like to do something in the field of programming.
Which is
that's fair.
We're on Scratch.
Shout out Scratch.
This is like, yeah.
17% of you said something in the field of animation, which is also fair. Nice. That's one of the other things Scratch does. 17% want to be content creators for the fans.
For the fans.
Yeah. And then 21% said something else and then didn't comment. Oh well.
I said leave a comment.
Happens to the best of us.
They didn't.
Secret.
I wish they did. So yeah, Keiron, you're part of the 17% that want to be a content creator.
Yeah.
Can you safely say that?
Yes.
Nice.
It's very safe.
Subscribe to ScratchRunning.
Subscribe to me.
From then on, you'll probably figure out how to subscribe to Keiron.
Yeah.
On his Twitch stream, or on his deleted stream.
Removed.
Removed.
Removed.tv/removed.
So I'm really surprised how much like we got out of these questions. I thought when I made this, I thought Q&A super episode. Okay, let's like it's gonna be a short one.
No.
Nuh-uh. It wasn't. We had enough to go for a 2-parter, and we might actually do that.
I've already figured out which
one.
ones.
Sometime?
Maybe.
Nice.
For the last, like, before we all say our names and leave, and you know, you go to argue about pasta with your friends.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys a question out there, you guys and gals. I want to ask you specifically which SRCast you enjoyed the most up until this point. And obviously, like, some people are going to join in.
Mine was number 5. Mine was number 11 because of Griff Patch. I'm feeling from the people 5 and 11, but like from the fans, I don't know.
Yes, I guess my question was more directed like towards the fans. I don't know if I got that across.
Yeah,
right. But yeah. I definitely have my favorite SRcasts, and I know why. But I wanna know what the people like the most, and I'm sure we're gonna get a lot of different answers here. Or maybe we're gonna get a lot of like the episode that Griff Patch loved, because that's where people,
Yeah.
That's where they joined in or whatever.
Try your best to base it off the podcast itself.
Yeah. I don't even know if enough people like listen, or if they listen enough to have a favorite one, if they like remember all the stuff. That's just generally, if you can be 100% honest and say, I honestly don't remember what happened in the last 14 ones. Seriously.
Yeah, that's fine.
Look, I'm just here for the
You don't have to memorize the inside jokes.
Let us know which episode you like the most and why, and that's it for me. Let's do the end card.
Thanks for listening. My name is Removed. My Scratch
Is everything illegal now?
Yes. My Scratch username is KShrav258 and
Removed.
Removed.
No, thank you all for listening. The stuff in the stuff we talked about, most of it, in case Shell sends me the link to that weird project, Helt's rule or something like that, I don't remember. All that stuff might be in the notes and credits. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to ask us stuff for the Q&A part 2. I don't know. Maybe
we're gonna have enough questions for part 2 of this.
Take part in the polls. We have those post emotes.
Feel free to SR Wimmers on the ed menu.
Yes. Click on the ed menu. Click on ed. Talk to him.
We're getting some more claps in here.
Oh, please everybody clap. Just
everybody clap your hands.
Congratulations.
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 I want to thank everybody out there for
thanks for listening
with us for 15 episodes. I don't know why it's kind of
a lot of
episodes.
episodes.
A milestone to me.
Sure.
It's multiple of 5.
It's a nice.
Yeah.
It's not a round number, but it's like a
honorary.
You know,
I've heard that 5 is sort of an honorary even number.
Yes. Honorary even number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. Let's start from the top. Who was in this podcast?
Yep, that's me. HmYesQuite. And next.
Keiron. There, I said it. That's my name.
Remove.
You can't find me here. You can't stop me.
So that's Keiron up there. My name is Apfellord. Down there we have your boy.
Pybro 101.
Shout out Pybro 101.
It him.
Yeah.
A toaster is an electrical small appliance designed to expose various types of sliced bread to radiant heat, browning the bread so it becomes
The
toast.
recording has now
The
stopped.
most common household toasters are the pop-up toaster and the toaster oven. A third type, most commonly found in restaurants, has a metal mesh conveyor belt that moves the bread past constantly powered heat elements. In pop-up or automatic